speaking of like resumes and things like that, I actually have a couple questions about landing a new gig, and maybe you can help some of my audience maybe land that first job or second job with some
Sure.
tips. So, what do you love to see on a resume? Like, what's caught your eye?
Yeah, so I like seeing specifics. If you're a generalist and have general buzzwords and keywords on your resume, that doesn't really show a, you being a differentiator. And so I'm always
Okay.
looking for things that would differentiate you from someone else. Like, how did you bring value to the project? Right? What did you do that went above and beyond the normal call of duty, so to speak? And then
Hmm.
one thing I love to see is a link to your digital portfolio, whether you've created
Right.
some YouTube videos, maybe you've built your own app, maybe you've done some white papers, whatever those things are that helps distinguish you and your capabilities. I look for. It's one thing that was posted, I think, over the last few days as far as what is most important to me. So I'm gonna go if I get a resume, I'll look at the resume, read it over, make sure that it's not just cookie cutter type of approach of a resume. I look
Right.
for specifics. I go to LinkedIn profiles, see what things match up on a LinkedIn profile, and see if there's been any recommendations or if they've been recommended for any skills or whatever on their LinkedIn profile. And then I'm hoping to be able to find a link or something to see either the GitHub repository or a YouTube channel or somehow digital artifacts that I can help dive into. Now, I guess I'm a little more of a thorough recruiter than others, but I like to try to get a full picture about what an individual has done
Right.
outside of just a conversation or before the conversation is had, so I can at least educate myself about that individual. So when I do call them, we can have some good conversation back and forth as far as what they've done and looking at things and have intelligent questions to ask and just helps build a better picture. Because at the end of the day, when I submit somebody, I need to have a good understanding and representation of that individual as well
Yeah.
when I do that submission.
I'd love to hear some horror stories, man. What have you seen on a resume that you're like, no, oh, I can't believe they wrote that? Or do you have any of
I,
those?
I think it's grammatical errors, right? I mean, just as far as Salesforce with two words, Visual Force with two words. You would see Salesforce with a capital S in one part of the resume and then lowercase s in another part of the resume. There's just attention to detail. I mean, your resume is about
Yeah.
the best thing you have to represent you when
Right.
you're first starting out. And if you have grammatical errors and just petty things in there that should be eliminated because you spent a good amount of time going through it with a fine tooth comb, those are the things that just ends up just ticking me off because to me, if you're doing that on your resume, how are you how are you going to represent yourself
Right.
when you're developing in the Salesforce application or you're doing working with customers, you're typing an email to customers and things like that. So your resume is the kind of representation of who you are and what you can bring to the table.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, I think a lot of people see it that way. It's kind of if you're not if you don't care enough to like really read through your stuff, how are you going to handle my customers like that I'm going to
That's
pay you
right.
to handle?
That's
Yeah,
right.
for sure. So, what are some like ways people can succeed during a phone interview?